Welcome back, everyone. This is our Wink 7. Hope you're all doing well. So, for today, I know this has been a long-awaited video sort of series, so I'm going to break this down into two separate videos, but I wanted to address some strategies. There's definitely a couple different ways to go about building your city. So I wanted to just sort of talk about three main different ways to play when you first start off, depending on whether you want to spend money or not, right? And just sort of how maybe you should start strategizing your city for the long run, what type of businesses you want to look at, and how you want to sort of structure everything. Now, obviously, with blueprints being random, this is not going to be a guarantee that you're getting the business you want, but you do get a lot of blueprints. So out of the 7 gold blueprints, you should probably pull at least a couple of the businesses you might want to use in this strategy. So let me get into it with switching over to my charts here, or table that I put together. So I've got the 3 different ones. So we've got the no spend, a medium spend, and then a very high spend, with obviously different timelines depending on how much you're going to spend in vouchers. So let's start off with the no spend. All right, so this is basically, you don't want to put any vouchers in. You're going to maybe sell some businesses later on, or some of your blueprints or something like that. Maybe generate a little bit extra vouchers through that manner. Maybe use them, maybe not. Depends on your style. But essentially what I wanted to do is sort of lay out what you need to be thinking about as you start to build your city. And also, I wanted to discuss some of the metrics around, like, what timing, how many diamonds things are going to require, and something just to shoot for. So as you start off in main city, you have an idea of, like, okay, this is what I need to be planning and developing to be successful and move forward at a faster pace than somebody that just comes in and does their best, but doesn't really have much of a game plan or a strategy. So this is the no spend strategy. Obviously, the easiest and lowest bar for entry here. But what you want to be doing is you need to consider what I call a powerhouse business. This business is going to be the one that is generating the income primarily for your city. And it's going to be the most expensive business for you to prestige. You don't want to be carrying too many powerhouse businesses. Now, these are your 4-space businesses, such as your motors, your bank, your arcade, or your Apex. These are very expensive. With this, I decided to choose the cheapest of them all, just to sort of streamline you. But if you decided to go with the motors, that's a fairly good option as well. Honestly, it's going to come down to, when opening blueprints, what you get. Right? If you get like a quality 4 motors and you only have a quality 1 bank, go with the motors, right? Now you're going to have a few opportunities, right? Like you'll be opening blueprints at level 10 for gold blueprints and level 20. So by the time you get to level 20, you'll be sort of sitting around like prestige 4, prestige 5, which is still very, very early game. You'll have just finished the tutorial and you're going to start developing an idea of what you're going to run for your main gold business. So hopefully within those first few sets of gold blueprints, you're going to pull something with a decent quality on it. I would run with that. Even if it's an Apex, right? Like if you pull an Apex and it's got a good quality on it, they are costly, but they're worth, running, in the sense that it's going to be producing more gold than, really you need for your city if you have it well balanced. Gold is the limiting factor. You need to be aware of that. Most times gold is what slows you down. You'll be generating enough diamonds to prestige and move forward. It's going to be the gold that sort of hinders your development. So obviously you want one big powerhouse business with a high quality on it. So if we flip over to my game, my powerhouse business is this motors. I've got a quality 6 main motors that does most of the work for me. I am looking at introducing another, not a main motors, but probably a bank or maybe an arcade. Haven't quite decided yet exactly what route I'm going to go for Division 2, but we'll talk about Division 1 and bridging into Division 2 in the next video. So this is my main motors, my main powerhouse, right? It produces a lot of the cash for me. And then you want to look at a support, two support businesses. Support 2 is going to be sort of a lesser support, and you'll see what I mean, because as you get into the higher prestiges, the decay on a common, the uncommon and the rare businesses, they drop off a bit, right? So you definitely want to look, though, at an epic. You should be getting a museo, hopefully. If the blueprint gods decide to bless you, you'll get a good museo, and I suggest running with a museo, mainly because they don't have as significant income decay. Like by the time you hit max prestige, they're still at about 80, I believe, percent efficiency, compared to a legendary, which stays 100%. There's no decay on its production at all. So Museo being an epic is a really good choice. It's a 2-space, so it's not as expensive, right? It's only 14.9, so basically 15 million versus your 26 million. So it's, a little bit less when it comes to the prestiging, nearly half of the actual cost. And obviously with that comes half of the gold production, but it's still pretty solid. That's why you want to look at something like one of these 2-space museos. And then you want a couple of other supports. So, a Cyber Bazaar, an LL Sport, or a Pride Record, they're all fine. Any of those will do well. And then some sort of lead or pusher. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. The lead or pusher is more of like a sequencing timer. But you can see here, so I've got a 22, a 17, and a 24, right? So this is producing 24 right now, but it's prestige 164. So it's basically producing at the same level these ones are. And if we go check them out, right, so this is 1 prestige higher than my main powerhouse business. And that's what I mean by decay. Like this was producing a lot better than, when it was up 1 prestige, it would produce, 30% more. In the low prestiges, like 10, 15, up to like 50, and then it starts to slowly lose its earning potential as it gets to a higher prestige. And by the time we hit P289, it's not going to be doing it might be doing about like 2/3 of what my motors does at sort of that medium range. So as of right now, this is the business that I push to the next prestige first. So you want something with a decent quality and something that's cheaper. So these are pretty cheap, but they also do produce a decent amount of income. So you want to have something that you basically breach the next prestige with. And then your second support is the next like cheapest one to bring up. Now that we're getting into the higher prestiges, again, it's not as efficient. It's producing 5 AY more than what the single space rare there is, but it also has a little bit extra quality. I did get this to 7, so that's where quality does also matter, right? You do want to have a higher quality business if possible, but these are your 2 sort of like minor supports, and then you've got your major support, which is your 3rd business you want to bring up to prestige, that being sort of like a the museo. And the reason why I choose museo, like I was saying earlier, being the rarity epic, so it has a little bit more lasting power. Some people like to run a Cineplex, the Felice Cineplex, just because they're similar in cost, right? If we go and we can take a look here at the businesses and the business costs. So the Felice is only costing like an extra 5 million per prestige, but it usually has a little bit better income generation at that lower end. The lower range, until it gets into like the 100s, 150s, then it starts to become par with the museo. And where the museo really comes in handy is when you're in that final stretch of the last 50 prestiges. That's when you'll really see the income drop off on a rare and especially an uncommon. Commons are essentially useless past prestige 100, so they're not really contributing to the city. So that's where it's like you need to essentially look at these 4 businesses as like the main ones you're running with for your Division 0 strategy, and then the rest are just your commons to meet prestige requirements. So here I've laid out, going heavy on the cool cats. Cool cats are the favorite of pretty much anyone playing this game right now, essentially because they are the cheapest to prestige, and they're also the nicest. It's just like 6 100x's, and then you just do the 10x, or sorry, the final 1x's to get it to 610. Whereas like with the Barbary Gym and the Flavortown Diner, you need to do a bunch of 10x's and then 1x's to finish it off. So a lot of people don't like that as much. So yeah, that's sort of the route that I decided to go here, was to go heavy on the cool cats, and that's kind of what I suggest as well. So really what you're looking at is close to about 80 million diamonds, right? Or sorry, 80 billion diamonds, because this is all in millions. So it's about 7 billion diamond for your bank, 4 billion diamonds for your museo, another 2.5 for your Cyber Bazaar, and nearly 1.5 for a Lion's Den. And then you're looking at about 33 billion for Cool Cats, another 20 billion for your Barbary Gym, and another 11 billion diamonds for your Flavortown Diner. So now you're going to be starting off with a fairly low diamond generation, right? You're not even going to be generating a million until you can unlock the other regions. Now this is where I would suggest maybe looking at purchasing a couple pieces of land. But once you hit, and I'm pretty sure it's around like prestige, prestige 60-ish, 70-ish, somewhere around in that range, you're able to essentially purchase enough arid lands that you should be able to generate pretty close to like 15, 20 million diamonds per hour. So you can get into a pretty good generation. I just kind of gave us an average of like 12 million per hour, and also carrying the entire load, right? So I'm not doing it based off of like, okay, you only need 5 businesses for prestige requirements, and now you need 10. And, I did it as though you have all 95 businesses you need for getting up to P289. And you'll be generating 288 million diamonds per day. And if you want to do 1 prestige cycle per day on all 95 businesses, essentially you will be able to meet it with 12 million diamonds per hour. So you'll be at 276 million, sorry. So it's doable with 12 million diamond generation per hour, not a problem. Though you will want to consider having a little bit of extra. You'll get the odd, lightning booster from your daily roar and stuff like that, but you will need boosters, and you'll want to be boosting your bank, at least with gold, while you're actively playing. So, or even a lightning booster if you can spare the extra diamonds. But that's sort of the route of no spend. You want to really balance your city. You want a business that you push, your lead business, and then you have these other supports that you sort of waterfall up until you're ready to get this big business up. And that's when you get a really big jump. And of course, you want to be attacking as much as possible, right? So this is where 12 million doesn't quite do what you need. If you bumped it up to like 15 mil, which we can see here, you'll have almost an extra 100 million to play with, right? So, there we go. So that's sort of the route that I'm suggesting, right, is to consider just those 4 businesses. Maybe you want to bump it up to 5 businesses, which is all good. But you don't want to be trying to carry, a Felice Cineplex, a Motors, a Kojit Bank. You don't want to, and then an arcade and an Apex, right? Like that's just too much diamond, and they're also very cash heavy, right? They require a lot of cash to level up, especially those legendaries. So that's where, if you are going to add an extra business, consider adding like a legendary, but do not drop your Kojit Bank. Or, maybe run a the bank and a Motors, or the bank and an arcade or something like that. So that'd be a good balance. You could run the bank and the Apex together. They do combo. There's a business combo there between those two, and that can also help with your diamond generation. And that's the last thing I do want to talk on with this no spend. You are going to have more than just these cool cats, gyms, and Flavortown diners. You will want to get some of these businesses. Like once you're into Prestige 10, 15, you can bring up a bunch of extra businesses just to fill your lands out and create business combos. That way you can boost up your diamond generation. And you don't need to go past Prestige 10. Just get those businesses to Prestige 10 and they will be producing the maximum that you can get from those business combos. So that's essentially the no spend method, right? You're just balancing and playing with what you get, logging in daily, trying to get your gold and diamond collection every 4 hours. If you buy some backpacks, that extend your offline income collection. Once it becomes a mobile game, that's going to be a lot easier for people. A lot of people will probably just target 8 hours, maybe 10 hours or something, just to have the ability to, sleep throughout the night without having to check Main City. So now let's move on to the medium spend. So what you're going to do with the medium spend here is you're still relying on your own diamond generation, but what you're going to do is just focus purely on commons and purchase a business off of the market. And you're going to purchase something that is like a 289 epic, maybe a legendary if you can find a 289 arcade or apex for decent. I did check the prices recently. The banks were going for around 450K, which is 450 crow. With the tax on that, you'd be sitting probably around 500 crow. And then there's the museos. They're around 200K, which you could purchase 2 of them and be perfectly fine. The advantage of going with the 4-space business, though, is that then you can carry that over to your Division 1 strategy, which we'll talk about in the next video. But that is helpful. I mean, you'll carry over the museo as well, but chances are you'll open a museo and be able to build one yourself. They're a lot cheaper to build than building a bank or a motors. So depends on how you want to go about it, but also boosting, just spending the boost on one business is a lot nicer than having to spend the boost on 2 businesses like the motors. So that's sort of the medium spend, right? You're not spending a lot. I mean, still it's close to 500K or 500 crow, maybe 600 crow, somewhere around in that range. You'll pick up a really good business or maybe 2, and then you're just basically doing cool cats. The only real constraint you're going to have here, because it's a little less organic, right? You're not within this method, the no spend method, you're still balanced fairly well, and you're going between the mansion, leveling up in the mansion, getting more blueprints, opening those blueprints, reforming your city, maybe merging, doing some merges, all that type of stuff to increase your quality. Whereas here you're just basically going, all I'm doing is logging in, just leveling up cool cats, putting boosters on my bank or on my motors, whatever your major cash generating business is. And then you're just going to power level or power prestige up to 289 using those cool cats to meet prestige requirements. So here I sort of balance it out just to give you an idea of like, okay, well, what are we looking at in regards to the cost on the cool cats? So you can see the difference here, right? We're at basically 80,000 here versus 80 billion versus 62 billion, 63 billion. So you save a little bit from not having to level up a bank and a museo and your other 2 supports. So you are strictly just focused on these cool cats. If you can get all just cool cats, that's even better. But chances are your blueprints will make you have to do some gyms and some diners. And it's kind of nice to do a few extra, a couple gyms, a couple diners and whatnot. That way you just have a variety in your city, as well as you could set up business combos to increase your diamond generation. So this is one tactic. There's another way to do it too. You could spend, instead of buying a 289 right away, you have to hit 100 anyways, prestige 100. So you can look in that middle range. Maybe you pick up something for like 30, 40 vouchers or something like that, 40K vouchers. So like 40 crow, 50 crow, somewhere in that range. And you can use that within your city too to help you move forward. So you could purchase minor businesses, but they'll also help you prestige, right? So really the whole requirement is, or the whole strategy based on this one is just to buy a couple strong businesses that are going to produce your gold, and then you just meet the prestige requirements for it using your commons. So very easy, very doable. Let's just do this real quick. So let's go and take a look here. Let's say, for example, I want a prestige one, something over prestige 100. That's an epic. So you can come in here, 45k vouchers, right? Now, one thing I do want to suggest is make sure it's max level or pretty close to max level, right? Like this business here for 150, this isn't bad. It's at 519 out of the 540. So it's pretty close to being max. So you could pick up something like one of these two. But I mean, honestly, why would you pick this one up when you could just go with a full gambit, get yourself the full, 289, no problem. Quality 3 is very powerful and would have no issues, doing good work for you in regards to leveling up businesses, especially once you get into the hundreds, prestige 100, then a Museo is pretty sound. It's what I used. I was in the prestige 200s when I used Museo to get me to division 1, but you can definitely purchase something like this and maybe look on the market later on and see what else you can get. So let's just flip over and check the market too, just for interest's sake. So let's say prestige 100 and see what we got available. So, let's put the epics on. So you could grab something like, this isn't bad for 50. It's only off by 70 levels, right? That's its max level there. See, this isn't too bad. 125. You could pick up something like this and that Museo, right? And that's even cheaper. So you spent, let's say 130 on that Museo, 125 on this, and these two businesses will help, be able to output Cool Cats pretty quick. You can get them probably done, maybe a prestige every 2 hours or something like that, based off the gold generation those two do. And then once you hit 230, you would leave this behind and then just replace it with a Cool Cat and continue using just that Museo. So there's a way to use that as well. So not a bad price on these businesses. I don't know how long these businesses will be up for or how long. I mean, you could even get this one. This isn't bad. Something like that though, right? Definitely don't get this, especially when there's one for 100k less vouchers. Let's see if there's anything in the legendary department here, just for interest's sake and completeness. So yeah, we got a few things. I mean, if you wanted an arcade, you could pick up an arcade like this. They're pretty strong, but it's level 1. So be careful of that if you're planning to do this strategy. You want to make sure it's as close to the max level as possible. So arcades are 550. The towers are 540. So you want to just make sure that you're not purchasing something that's, like if you buy this, it's doing literally nothing for you, right? It's level 1. It's not going to be producing cash because it produces cash at its level, but for what prestige requirements you meet. So if you only meet prestige requirement 2, right, it's going to be generating prestige 2 cash at level 1, right? And so that's like next to nothing. It's going to do nothing for you, and you're just going to be disappointed you purchased this business. So that's just a fair warning if you're looking to try this strategy out. And then the last one I want to discuss here is what I call more of like a high spend. I don't think there was anything else. So high spend here, right? This is literally 0 diamond requirements other than the mansion. So you will still have to pay to unlock the mansion and do the account leveling. So you'll need to meet avatar levels through placing furniture. But this is basically a fast track to Division 1. And what you're going to do is you're buying 95 of P289 Cool Cats. So you're just going to have 95 Cool Cats or 95 common businesses. So you could buy gyms, you could buy Cool Cats, you could buy diners, right? Obviously, Cool Cats come with more of a premium. I estimated them at about 20K vouchers. And so that comes in at about 1.9 million vouchers, or in total, it's 2,280 crow, right? After the taxes and everything that you have to put into the game. So you could run just a complete city of cool cats to get yourself into Division 1. And then once you hit Division 1, you could come over and purchase something that is a Division 1 business, right? So maybe you purchase something like this, which will get you really going into Division 1. If we go back, you could also get something like this. I wouldn't suggest it. They're overpriced to me. If you ask me, these are overpriced. That's right, why nobody's bidding on them. But you can go, and if we check, let's just reset this and go from Division 1. So then you can, once you promote one of those cool cats up to Division 1, then you have access to the Division 1 market, and you'll be able to purchase anything off of the market that is Division 1. So you could come in here and purchase something like this business. See, yep, somebody's bidding on it. So, not a bad price for it though, at Prestige 100. You can come in, maybe grab something like this, a P38. So not bad, especially being quality 4. And then you would just promote some more cool cats and level up to these businesses. And obviously with the amount of blueprints and everything you get, you'll be able to open up and increase the quality on your businesses as well. And you'll also be stacking a lot of diamonds, right? Like this method is still probably going to take you, I want to say, a week. If you bought all of the businesses in one shot, like one shot, if we go and we check on the market, you'll see this is 100% legit. You could do this, right? There's more than enough. Let's go 289s, and there we go. They're 14K vouchers right now. So they're all under 20. So let's see how many pages we got that are under 20. So a lot of cool cats on the market available, all 289s. And there's a few diners, so you could pick up a couple diners if you wanted. But, I mean, stick to the cool cats if you're looking to put your vouchers into a more desirable business. Most people don't like the diners or the gyms. They just like cool cats. But there we go. So there's the 20 mark. And we have about, 11 pages before we hit 20? Almost 12 pages before we hit 20. And that's 8 per page. So let's just go and double check here. So if we have 8 times, so we've got 92. So there's 92 available for you to purchase instantly under 20K vouchers. And I mean, you could go up to 25 since you saved, a decent amount on the first few pages. So you could go up to 25 and you would have more than enough. You can get to almost 13 pages here. And then if we also check, so auction, you can bid on some of these businesses as well, right? So you can maybe even find some that are a little bit cheaper for $289 because those on the market are the ones that didn't sell. So yeah, you could also come in here and bid, and then it's a 4-hour wait to see if you get it. And chances are you would. Like if you bid on this, right, nobody's going to come in and bid it up when they could just come here and purchase this, right? Oh, they might, because then it would become 2.5 instead of 3.9. But you get what I mean, right? So there's a decent amount on here as well. And I mean, in 6 hours, these are going to be hitting the market anyways. So then there's going to be all of these businesses rushing to the market too. So you could pick up a lot more. So there's a decent amount of businesses under 20K. Like let's just scroll through here and see how many pages of 289 commons. So about here. So not bad. We've got 10 pages. So this is about to switch over at 18K. So you would for sure be able to. Now, again, that's only one person being able to do this. So how feasible is this method? It's feasible, definitely feasible. And it would take you, I think, over a week. You could finish the leveling up of your avatar, placing all the furniture, opening the blueprints. And at that point, you'd be also able to generate enough diamonds to be able to do the 5 million diamond required purchase or upgrade to get to Division 1, as well as start stacking those diamonds to level up something like a Motors, a Museo, or whatever, right? Just to be able to have that business ready to go. just a high quality one, and then you could level it up to the max prestige. It'll take a little bit of time because cool cats aren't going to be producing a lot of gold, so you'll have to level that business off its own gold, and so it will take a decent amount of time unless you purchase something like one of the businesses I was showing earlier, right? So you could also take that then, right? We've got the 2,280 crow and purchase one of those museos that I was showing you earlier, right? At 150, 200K voucher, something around there, right? See what's available on the market. But essentially for, about 2,500 crow, you could get into Division 1. And so what I want to show you is, like, you'll be starting and you'll probably be in like the 5,000s. If you hit Division 1, I just want to show you where that brings you. Oh, that's way too far. I keep forgetting there's so many bot accounts here, so many dead accounts. Okay, I'm better off just clicking on my position and scrolling. So let's see where the line is from Division 0, which is the gold, up to titanium, which is Division 1. So we are looking at, I think we're probably close to almost 200. So you'd be getting into rank 200-ish area. So here we are coming up on that divider point here. So billions, millions, thousands. Yeah, so we're over 200. Nice. It's been a while since I checked to see where we were at for Division 1 players, but there we go. Okay, so you'd be getting up to, within the first week or so of playing, if you purchased all these businesses, you could get into the top 250 pretty quick. Pop yourself right up here, promote into Division 1, and then just slowly start moving. But again, it is a pretty significant requirement when it comes to the amount of crow that you got to spend just to get to this point. But again, it also comes down to your overall strategy and plan, right? If you're just going to play for fun, maybe make a few vouchers here and there, a little bit of crow, and not play too seriously, you're not worried about where you are on the rank or the leaderboard, then yeah, no worries. Like, just play, I would say play strategy 1, right? Just no spend, maybe sell a few businesses and you can reinvest that voucher into something and, transition sort of into a medium spend. But if you're really competitive and you want to get to Division 1 as quick as possible, just buy those cool cats, get yourself up to Division 1, and then, get yourself a museo like we were looking at, one of the P289s, Division 0 ones, or purchase something that is in Division 1 already. That's maybe at prestige like 100, and do this technique, right? Do the medium spend and sort of like power prestige using your cool cats to get up to that and match the prestige requirements on that big business you purchased. So that's essentially the 3 main strategies you could take. You're going to not spend anything and have a well-balanced city, or you're going to buy 1 or 2 big businesses and meet the prestige requirements and then reconfigure your city once you get into Division 1. Or you just literally just purchase all of the prestige requirement businesses you need just to be able to basically bypass Division 0 and then get right into Division 1 by purchasing or promoting a cool cat into Division 1 and then purchasing a business or purchasing the businesses you want to use that are in Division 1 already, right? And then you could switch and transition into the same concept of the no spend, where you have a powerhouse business, a support business, and a pusher, right? So that's one technique, and that's definitely the fastest. But if you have no care about where you are on the leaderboard, you're just having fun, I suggest going no spend. This is pretty much what I did up until about prestige 200-ish, 250, I think. I was almost at 250. And then I switched over. I bought a museo that I could just then meet the prestige requirements with on a bunch of cool cats, diners, and gyms. So that's what you're looking at for Division 0 strategies. So next up, we will talk about Division 1 strategies and exactly what I'm doing. Especially, as you can see, my land is completely bare. other than one business, not even one business per land, right? I've got one business here that's not even a level, it's level 1, right? As cheap as it can come at Prestige 0. And I'll explain that in the next video as to what type of strategy I have and another strategy that you could do in Division 1. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you like this video. I know it's been a while. I'm trying to figure out how I wanted to set it up and explain these 3 different strategies. But let me know down below in the comments if this helped you, or what strategy you're going to try out, or what strategy you use to get to the rank that you're at. I think a lot of people are playing just the no spend strategy. So, I mean, it's easiest, right? Especially if you don't really want to spend any of your money or buy vouchers. But, you know, if you start winning some vouchers from competition, maybe, you know, consider reinvesting them in the market, right? Pick yourself up something off of the auctions. You know, if you're Prestige 30 right now, you know, target something in the Prestige 100s. Come in, see what they got. You know, we've got this here, or you could pick up this 134. I mean, this is a steal. This is absolute steal. 140 for a quality 3. So that's a really good purchase. You could also, you know, look and see what you got for rares. Maybe you pick up a couple rares instead. Like 30k vouchers for this is pretty cheap. I mean, you could even just do a den build, right, and buy like 3 or 4 of these at Prestige 289, and those work. That would work just as fine as buying, you know, something like a Museo. But there's a lot of different ways to tackle this. So it just comes down to what type of, you know, what type of tolerance you have to the market and how much money you want to spend on businesses, especially because a lot of times they aren't really an investment, right? I would say, you know, you can invest in some of the NFTs, like the lands and stuff like that. But when it comes to these businesses, they don't really hold their value as significant, especially as more players come in. Now, once we hit mobile, that could be a completely different story. Some of these businesses may really have value again. But as of right now, we do see the price sliding. So, you know, you buy 1 week and next week it could be another, you know, it could be 10k vouchers less, you know, 10k less, $1 cheaper, then $1 cheaper the next week, blah, 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 right? So don't consider these businesses like a pure investment where you're going to be like, I'm buying this and I'm going to sell it for more later, because it's not guaranteed that that's going to happen. But, you know, with the NFTs, there's a good chance that that will happen, especially as we get more and more players in. People are going to want lands. People are going to want your tools. They're going to want backpacks and stuff like that. So those are more of a sound investment if you're going to put money into the game. But if you have basically no budget, right, you're just like unlimited budget, just let's get me to the top, then strategy 3 is your best bet. And then look at purchasing some stuff like this, right? Get yourself a P100, right? Like pick this up. That's a pretty nice business for the price of it. Considering it's Division 1, Prestige 100. So, yeah, that's all I really got for you guys today. Stay tuned for the next video where I am going to break down a few concepts and strategies to keep aware of as you move into Division 1. So however it is that you got there, whether it was buying and bypassing Division 0, or if you've been grinding since day 1 and you're finally getting to Division 1, and you just want some insight from somebody that's been playing in Division 1 for, I guess I've been in it for about 6 months now almost. So not as experienced, obviously, as some of these people now that are in Division 2, but I'm making a good push through Division 1, and I've got some insights, so I'll definitely share that with you guys in the next video. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop down in the comments below what you guys thought, or if you have any questions, I'll get to them as soon as I can. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.